Good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are in this ever-expanding now moment. Welcome to the Pleiadian Blue Ray Show with your host, Shamanka Natalie Alaya,
Hello.
and myself, Bridget Rau. And today we have on our lovely, awesome, special co-host, Larry Locken. You want to say hello, Larry Locken?
Hello, Larry Locken. Hello, ladies. How are you doing?
We're doing shit. We're getting kicked by Mercury retrograde.
No, I feel like 50.
Today we're talking about how we feel like shit with the Mercury retrograde, and it's more of a laid-back type of show, and it's very fitting with the topic of being laid back and Mercury retrograde, because Natalie also wants to talk about quantum physics and the quantum entanglement. So that's really a laid-back topic.
It'll put everyone to sleep. It'll relax you and chill you.
Yep. And we're also going to talk a little bit about fairies, because that makes total sense. And basically, we're just going to wing it and see what happens, because we are in Mercury retrograde, and communication just seems to do its own fucking thing at this time. And I think all of us are feeling the effects of that. So, I know, Larry, how are you feeling?
I felt pretty good when I went to bed last night about 6 hours ago, but yeah, I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked today, and I just wanted to share in the misery with everybody out there and spread some love. But I'm here.
Good. That's the spirit.
Yes.
And Mercury is in Capricorn right now.
So what's that mean? He's got a fucking fishtail and horns?
Yeah, he's got horns and he's kicking everything. You know how goats like to kick?
Yeah, he's pissed off. He's like, fuck this retrograde.
But earth signs, when it's like in an earth sign, it's like about the physical world, manifestation. And Capricorn rules the bones, so it is about structure.
So how does that? So is there no structure, or is there structure?
In a way, you could see it as a structure, no structure situation, going back and forth, like quantum entanglement, going
right
back and forth.
Oh my god!
Between the two, because it is about, okay, so this structure, does it support you? No, get rid of it. Does this structure support you? Yes, keep it.
Okay. So in Mercury retrograde, I know communication breaks down a lot. And I've been seeing this happen around me. People are getting upset and stuff, and then they're realizing that, like, oh, I shouldn't have been upset because the fucking technology just didn't follow through with, the messages. And then that lady the other day who gave you a hard time, who thought we had done something, like, we had deleted a comment, and we didn't. It was just fucking Mercury retrograde bullshit.
Page. Yeah, and I think Facebook can be very funny sometimes and cause, like, strange things,
Right. So basically, it's just fucking bullshit all around.
I just have been sleeping. I mean, that's I slept most of today. I couldn't really function that well today, and just kind of been staying off social media, because I don't like it when Mercury goes retrograde and that stuff happens, so I just kind of back away.
Like, I ain't getting blamed for shit I'm not even on. I found it funny too, because I know Larry's been sleeping and I've been sleeping. I went to bed last night at, like, it must have been 10:30, and I didn't wake up today until after noon. And the dreams that I've been having lately make like they're just so fucking crazy. But you were talking about your dream, and I find that, like, we're having these crazy dreams that we can't understand, but other people are understanding them for us.
Yeah, like Sif understood my dream. Thank you, Sif.
Your dream was about, like, restructuring your house.
Mm-hmm.
by blasting holes through the walls.
I was like, I'm gonna remodel. I was like, okay, that has to go. And then all of a sudden, like, it was like, you know, the wall would like explode. And I was like, good, okay, but now what?
And Sif had said that meant you were doing like inner work and blasting holes through your, I guess, like subconscious and conscious.
Mm-hmm. Well, it totally resonates with the structure theme of Capricorn. I'm right there, baby. I'm right there.
So you're taking your structural aspects of life and blasting
and remodeling it, because the retrograde is always a re. Oh, sorry. What did you say? I cut over you.
I said you're just blasting fucking holes through the structure.
Yeah. I'm like, kaboom. Bye-bye.
That's. The other day I had a dream before the TP thing that I did. It was about big, huge ravens, like, attacking my friends and my mom. And, like, they were fucking huge. Like, their nails would, like, impale people and go right through them. And I was, like, pulling the nails out of them. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I was, like, we're out on a balcony, like, fighting off these big, huge birds. So at one point, I'm like, I tried to climb back through the window just to go inside. My mom's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just tired. Like, I can't fight anymore. So I like she thought I was like gonna like leave her to die to the birds. So I handed her a pair of scissors and I was like, just cut their wings, just cut their flight feathers. And as soon as I handed them the scissors, they started to cut the flight feathers, and the birds turned into like little tiny birds within the palm of their hand. Even the flight feathers were like, you know, an inch long, and the lady was like, oh, you took their power. So for me it made no sense, but for some other lady who I was trying to explain it to, it was like she knew what it meant. You know, like battling for everybody else and taking the power of the thing that was trying to hurt them. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was weird.
Wow. That's amazing. I've been having some crazy dreams too, you guys, kind of like that, but I can't remember a lot of them at this point. But it seems like I've been doing battle, traveling to places, having contact with the Lyrans, but it's just been really exhausting. I feel like I've been working completely all the way through my sleep and therefore not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, you had a lot of information about the Lyran stuff popping up recently. I saw some stuff that was
on the
like
Pleiadian Light Grid project. I did. I saw that too. You had a couple of channelings that they were good.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. I mean, I know that it seems like they're coming into our consciousness more and more now, working as kind of from an elder standpoint to oversee things, and it's just been really exciting. It's helped me get through retrograde, you know, a little bit, and I feel really beat down today, and I must be feeling the collective energy.
Makes sense. I think we're all. I woke up with a headache and just tired, and I had been dreaming about my sister. She's pregnant, and she was like going into the hospital to have her baby, and needed me to come do Reiki. As soon as I touched her, the baby pops out, and her fucking boyfriend starts singing. Her boyfriend starts singing rap music across like the whole like PA system for the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Like, it just makes no sense. But I don't feel like I don't think we're sleeping when you, like what you said. I don't think we're sleeping. I think we're just like actively doing weird shit.
Yeah, I don't like it when I'm too active in the dream time, because like what Larry said, you wake up and you're fucking tired.
Yeah, it's like you didn't sleep at all.
Mm-mm. I read a Buddhist, or maybe it was an Osho text, where he said that the people that are fully enlightened don't dream, because the dreams are the unconscious. Mm-hmm. And if you're fully enlightened, you don't have an unconscious, so you don't dream, and you actually sleep, and that's why they only need a couple of hours.
Oh, well, I got a long way to fucking go.
I do too. I have lots of dreams. I still have a lot of unconscious.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if that explains why we sleep so much. I mean, I have always had a propensity for wanting to sleep a lot when I was younger. It seems like my cousins wouldn't want to sleep, but we'd be over at my grandparents, and I'd want to sleep all day long in the summer. And I don't know why. You know, I'd want to sleep 12, 13, sometimes 14 hours a day. And it just feels like I've always been that way, and I've always wanted to sleep more than other people. And I wonder if it's because we're traveling so much in our dreams, and we're, like you guys have said, we're doing so much battle, and we're growing, and we're, doing all this shit. And so we're really never into a deep, deep sleep.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Or
unless I'm passed out on a bunch of Valium and whiskey, it's, not going to happen.
I was watching Inception the other night again. And it's kind of like Inception, the dream within the dream.
Yeah.
This wake life is kind of a dream world too, but sometimes we're not very active in the 3D, but boy, we go into the dream within the dream and we're running around like crazy people.
Right. I agree with Larry too, because I've always been like that one that's like, at slumber parties and shit, I'm like, all right, I'm going to sleep, and like I hate waking up. Like even if I'm awake, I'll pretend to be asleep so I don't have to talk to people.
Yeah, I do that too.
I'm like, just shut up. I need to go back to sleep for another 12 hours. Why are you awake?
Yeah, nothing pisses me off more than that. People that want to get up and do things, and it's like, shut up and go back to bed and get some rest. Enjoy life for once.
Enjoy life in bed.
Enjoy sleep.
Let's get up today and, God, we're going to go do some things. Fuck all that. Let's go back to bed.
Right? Well, that's like that. We did a thing on Saturday, and they went around the group, and they're asking everybody what they're passionate about. And in my head, I'm like, sleep. But I know I couldn't say that because it's like so not. Everyone's like, I'm passionate about drawing, or I'm passionate about music, or I'm passionate about writing. And I'm like, I'm passionate about sleep.
I would be the same. I always tell people I'm a sleep monster. I love my sleep. I love naps. And I get really irritated if I don't get the 8 to 10 hours of sleep that I need.
If I don't get those 16 hours, I'm a fucking douche.
Fuck that, I'd rather have 18 hours. And what I'm passionate about that person shutting the fuck up and everybody getting some sleep. How about that?
Oh no, here comes the insomnia.
Yeah, the insomnia stalker is going to pay a nice visit to these people. Start getting some sleep.
Now, what does he consider to be insomnia? Like, if you're not sleeping more than 12 hours, is that insomnia?
Oh, if he overhears you complaining about having sleep issues, or he thinks that your lack of sleep may be affecting other people because of your selfishness and not being able to sleep, then he's going to have to come find his way to your life and keep a profile on you and kind of just monitor what you're doing online and watch you from afar. Find out all your habits. Start looking into your family dealings and really just start getting involved in your life until you start respecting sleep.
Until you stop being selfish and sleep more.
I see. I feel like that. If I knew that was happening, I'd be less likely to sleep.
Oh, you mean if you were being paid visits?
Yeah.
Well, he can visit you on the astral realm too. It's not just in 3D that he can visit you. He can also pay attention and follow you on the astral level till you start resting.
Nice. So basically, wherever you go, you're fucked because this guy's watching.
He's gonna pay a special interest in you, just to make sure you're getting rest, because it really makes him distraught and saddens the insomnia.
Oh man, I crack up every time.
Don't you think that Starseeds are more affected by Mercury retrograde than Earthlings? Hello?
Honestly, for me, I've actually, like, different times that Mercury retrogrades come about, it's had the opposite effect on me. Like, last year around this time, I had been, like, wicked depressed and hiding and stuff, and it wasn't until Mercury retrograde that I came out and started getting more active into the community again. And I thought that was funny because while everybody else was like hiding and complaining about the retrograde, but I don't know what house it was in. It's I think it affects us differently.
Yeah. It's not always a negative effect either, because it does depend on your own chart whether it's retrograde in your chart.
Yeah, I think in I'm not sure, but I think in my chart it was retrograde when I was born.
If it was, then you do like the opposite. It would be an activating
Yeah.
sign
So
for
I'm
you.
pretty good, but I am fucking tired this time.
Yeah, guys, I'm just really tired. Last year, it really kicked my ass. I mean, I felt bedridden for like a week last year, during this time, it seems like.
Yeah, I think I had just spent like 6 months in bed. So by the time Mercury retro hit, I was like, oh, I can get up.
Yeah. Do you think, Larry, that it affects starseeds more? Do you feel you're affected more by retrograde than?
Yeah, totally. I really do. I feel like our bodies are more sensitive to things like
Cut out.
what the fuck's going on. So I don't know if they would know if they were affected or not, but it certainly seems that way. And maybe the collective feels it too. These earthlings feel it too. Sorry.
Yeah, you're cutting out, Larry.
I feel like I feel like it affects other people, but I don't know if they notice it. You know what I mean? And we're just generally so much tireder anyway that, yeah, I think it affects starseeds a lot. And I think that some starseeds maybe even denial about it affecting them. I mean, it just affects your attitude. It can make you depressed, drag you down,
Yep.
ramble on air,
Get cut off.
get cut off.
It's funny when you cut off though. When you listen to it again, you're like, I feel, and then there was like a blank space.
Oh,
You feel
God.
nothing.
That's what I was feeling.
Yeah,
It was meant to be.
He feels nothing. He feels empty inside.
He's reaching the Zen point.
I'm reaching.
So what else about Mercury retrograde that you guys notice? They say it breaks down communication, but what else does it do? Because everybody flips out about it, common. So like, what are the other
delays with your travel is not good.
Oh, Jamie's fucking in Florida.
You can get delays with your flights. Things can go because communications are kind of not always hitting the point. So you can get flight delays with, travel, buses, trains, whatever.
Watch Jamie get stuck in Florida for like 2 months.
He's going to walk back.
Well, they drove down, so I think he'll be all right. But my phone shit, like, so we all had the same phone through the same plan. And before he left, he went and bought like a Straight Talk like prepaid card to transfer the phone over, and it worked on his. And then he did his brother's, and it worked on his brother's. So then he bought me a card to do mine. And I was like, okay. So I tried to do it, didn't work. Tried to do it again, didn't work. Then he went out and bought another card because he thought something was wrong with the card, and it still doesn't work. So like everybody else's phone fucking worked. Everybody else has their phone up and running, and I'm using my note for fucking Wi-Fi stuff and his mother's like ancient flip phone just to talk to Jamie while he's gone, and I'm still waiting for my phone from Sprint to come in the mail, which should have been here like 2 days ago.
Yep, classic Mercury retrograde shit.
So I can't talk to nobody unless it's on Wi-Fi or this flip phone thing that I'm not supposed to use unless I'm talking to Jamie.
You guys mentioned travel. I couldn't imagine a bigger hell right now than being delayed at an airport, having the anxiety of having to fly, wondering when my plane was going to get there, and going through all this shit feeling this way, then having to deal with the stress of flying or getting somewhere like that. I really feel for people that are going through this right now who might be traveling abroad. I hope they get there soon.
So good. Larry, when you cut out sometimes it takes like sometimes the last word or sound of you and it stretches it out.
So you said people who are traveling abroad.
God, this fucking thing.
Yeah, Mercury.
I was just saying that I would hate to be traveling abroad right now. I would hate to be traveling, period. I could only imagine feeling like shit and then having to travel, have your flight delayed, just deal with life in general.
Mm. I can't stop laughing. I've got the giggles now.
I know, it's not, and we were talking before we got on air today, it's like, we also have the effects of, like, being on drugs. Like, we're just like, it's like we smoked a big pot of Mercury Retrograde before we came on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loaded a fresh bowl.
Mercury Retrograde. Oh.
So, Natalie, I know you've been thinking about quantum crap.
Yeah,
and,
guys, I want you guys to chill with quantum mechanics, okay?
So
yeah, there was a great little article which I thought the guy was like, he explained it really well. So I'm always looking too for articles that explain this complicated stuff simply, because the theories can be kind of mind-boggling, but most of the time the experiments are pretty simple. So the whole thing with quantum mechanics, so everyone the basics, general relativity. I can't even say the word. Relativity. It never correlates. Einstein's theories don't correlate with what's happening at the subatomic level. That's the big issue, and has been the big issue since he came out with that theory in the 1900s. And they have really finally proven, so they have these whole list of tests they call the Bell's test, which would, let's say, discount or take out like other ways that these atomic particles are communicating. So basically what they did at the university is they entangled atoms, but they entrapped them in diamonds and put them like a mile away on the university. So there was no way. They were trapped in diamonds. They were entangled, pre-entangled, and then trapped in this like diamond whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's a diamond thing. And then they moved them away. And then what they were looking at is each of the subatomic particles, if they're entangled, they can either go up or down. They have two spins. And if they're entangled, they're both going to be up or they're both going to be down. But basically, they showed that they were entangled, and it was only when we observe, so we are affecting it. And if we think it's going to be up, it's going to be up. If you check it and it's down, and you think in your head, I think the spin's going to be down. It's going to be down.
I know what you're talking about.
We are.
My mom's been talking about this stuff. Like, she keeps watching things about it. They do have tons of things that they're doing now to show it's like, stuff isn't even moving until we look at it to make it move. It's because we're giving it the intention or the power. We're creating the outcomes of their tests. So it is cool, and they keep finding new and better ways to show to everyone that it's a real thing and it's really happening. So it sounds complicated and confusing, but it's not.
It's actually not. They basically were trying to rule out any way that these particles could talk, because it's happening faster than light speed. And that's something also that goes against Einstein's theory of relativity. Now, Einstein's theory of relativity works on large scales, but it doesn't work on the small scale quantum.
Okay. So now they took these diamonds.
They tracked these entangled particles, right? That had the.
Are they the same entangled particle, and then got different results from each one?
Yeah, and then they looked at them to look at the spin, and if they're way away, and you don't know what spin they are until you observe it, of course.
Right. And whoever looks at it's like, I think it's so they're making it happen with their mind.
And the other one a mile away is automatically spinning that way then when they check it as the particle. They're
Now,
connected,
what if you?
and they're a mile away.
What if you? But what if you put two people on two, like, the same one, right? So, like, can you fuck with them?
Yeah, I think it's going up. I
You
think
know what
it's
I mean?
going
Like,
down.
you
And
go
then it's like,
focus
oh my
on up, I'll
God, what
go
do I
focus on
do?
down.
Yeah. I don't know. See, this is why we should be doing experiments too and informing them.
I think we should, because, like, me and you could be, like, you know, you in Ireland, and you're like, all right, I'm making it go down, and I'll be like, okay, I'm making it go up, and then they'll just blow up.
And they say that, like, Larry talks about this when he's saying about from the higher level. You always say, like, who's going to win all the Super Bowl? Well, all 33 teams or whatever, 32 in the football league. They say that before you look, they are actually in both up and down spin at the same time.
But how do they know if they're not looking?
Superposition. This is what they call superposition, because there are ways to kind of sneak a peek without really looking, like to look at its shadow. Kind of, there are, like, if you look at the experiments, they've tried to do stuff where they don't actually observe the particle, but maybe they'll observe another particle that's affected by that particle.
This is just
a roundabout way, you know.
this is like another one of your fucking black hole things. My brain is like, oh, no.
The basic thing is we are the creators. We have the power. Things do entangle. There is a spooky action at a distance, faster than light speed. This should be front page news. And, you know, it changes everything. This is something he said. Here's a quote. What he says, unable to accept this simple truth. Okay, wait, sorry, I'll go back. This discovery should have made the cover of every single newspaper worldwide. It changes everything we know, but there is one problem. Every current textbook says there is no field, this field that they're interacting with, and entire careers and credentials are based on the fact that the field is not there. As a result, Einstein's theory will likely continue to stand.
That's bullshit.
It is. And they say today's scientists behave like a religious cult and hilariously defend a theory that's wrong without giving any facts.
We need to change the world.
Yep. And the people who are intuitive and who understand this stuff on an intuitive level really resonate with this whole entanglement and how things work and realize this, but you know, I don't know, it just doesn't, I think it's a disempowering thing that they're keeping it away from us because basically it's a way to disempower us.
I hate that people just agree with stupid shit.
Natalie, how much of it do you think that that's a funding issue? I mean, these scientists want to stay stuck in that mentality, and how much of that is based on them being afraid of the funding being pulled out from under them, or somebody might come on to something else and it might take attention away from whatever they're researching, their particular area?
No, that's it. It's all about money. They want their jobs. They want to keep their credentials, and to do that right now, they have to, like, basically support a lie.
I really don't have a lot of empathy for them, to be honest.
I don't either.
I mean, if they're worried about keeping their job, their research, their ego. But I think it's kind of playing itself out. I mean, they're going to have to come along and come on board, and a lot of them have already. They're starting to, or as much as they can. And I think it's really a culture shock for them. And I can't understand how somebody that intelligent could be that surprised by anything.
Right.
They really, what I noticed, because I was, like, I did a PhD, now this was 20 years ago, or maybe longer, but I think it's 20 years ago. You really shut down. You're so busy. They you know, you're taking classes, you're doing research, you're trying to get enough research to do a PhD. You're intuitive. The intuitive side of science is not supported at all. So I think all of them just shut it down. Their intuition. Yeah.
If you're going into this field to, like, you know, study this stuff, you must have at some point been like, all right, like, what the fuck's the point of further studying and finding shit out if you're gonna just stick to the same old story? Like, what the fuck's the point of being a theorist or fucking doing any type of experiment if the same fucking result's gonna come out every time? Like, they must have at one point been curious and knew that there was other fucking things out there to be found, and then they just got shut down when they...
I think a lot of them, to be quite honest, are geeks, and they're good at school, and they got maybe parents that are on their ass to get good grades, and you got to go into this field, and science is so exciting, and so they get caught in basically just doing this research that's already been researched, and they really don't have the consciousness and the mind to really want to go deeper and to get into the spiritual side of it. You know what I mean? They're stuck in that stupid ass, so you got to get good grades and get a degree and all that. And I think they're more stuck in the minutia of getting the degree and getting the credentials than they are even about anything that they're studying. I think they even lose sight of the fact that they're even in science. You know what I mean? They're just there to get the grades, get the credentials, get the big job, you know, stress out the rest of their life.
They're not interested in you know, it's a career. They're not interested in actually learning or creating a new paradigm, because that's what that is. New information, it's a paradigm shift. And we, you know, they want to, it's almost like they're holding down that old paradigm. Don't let go.
I mean, by that mentality, nothing would have ever even been invented. I mean, we would still be lighting a cigarette with a, I don't know, a stick and a rock.
We wouldn't even have a cigarette. We'd have fucking tobacco and a leaf.
Yeah, we'd have tobacco rolled in a leaf. Yeah, no fire, so people would be chewing tobacco. You'd see a lot of them smiling with tobacco in their teeth, and I mean, we would have never gotten anywhere. And I think too, there's the peer pressure. They're afraid. They're afraid of breaking outside the mold because of ridicule. Well, fuck ridicule.
Yeah, but Larry, when you said they get lost in the minutia, that is spot on. That is it. They just get lost in the minutia, and the negative so no negative experiments. One of the problems with science is no negative experiments are ever published. It's all hidden. So experiments are repeated over and over again. We're talking centuries, because no one knows that it hasn't worked, because there's nothing to say that it hasn't worked. So you do it, find it doesn't work, and you hide that shit too.
So we're stuck on this loop.
Yeah.
They're just stuck on this time loop. Nothing ever gets done. Nothing gets documented. Nobody remembered that the other person already did that research, so they just keep going at it and going at it blindly.
That is exactly how it is. Or they'll say, like, okay, we'll take this experiment and we'll change the temperature from 30 to 15. And that's the new thing. Or we'll add salt. We'll increase the concentration of salt. You know, and, you know, here's your PhD and great science.
Yeah, isn't it an interesting paradigm? I never realized that science also meant closing your mind off to anything new, or thinking of anything outside the box, or thinking of anything, period, really.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary. Assholes.
Yeah. It's absolutely scary, and they're hampering. Now, the scientists have become like how the church people were 100, 200 years ago. They're very powerful. People seem to trust and believe everything they say, because it's like, hey, I'm a scientist, just like when I'm a priest. They're the same. It's just a different mask.
It's just an opposite end of the stick. It really seems like there's this interesting paradigm between scientists of now and your really hardcore fundamentalist religious people.
Yep. Very much so. And they, like you said, they're two ends of the same stick, and they're both just sticking to their stories, and that's all it is a story.
Yeah, and it seems like more and more now that science people are becoming more resistant to moving along and getting into the future than a lot of the, you know, hardcore religious people are. Religious people, I say people, but you know what I mean? People that are of that persuasion.
I don't know. They seem to be both pretty stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I guess in a way I see what you mean, because the scientists really, they're smart enough.
Yeah, they ought to know better.
They ought to know better. It's almost like they're being ignorant on purpose.
I think that's where I get resentful because it just seems to me like they're doing it on purpose. I'm not saying that they are, but it seems like they're so closed-minded to thinking of anything that was.
What?
Well, I mean, it didn't go along with the norm.
Yeah.
What?
You cut
What?
out, Larry. You cut out.
Did I cut out?
Yeah.
It just seems like you could be talking to somebody of that profession and they get a glazed look in their eyes if you discuss something that they've never heard of before or that they've never found in their limited research. It just anything spiritual, anything about extraterrestrials, you know, Mercury retrograde, dimensions, whatever it is, anything that's not right in front of their eyes or anything that they haven't come across before, did the research on, their eyes, they get a glazed look in their eyes when they have to ponder or consider something else, and I think it takes them out of their comfort zone.
Exactly.
And when did spirituality and let's say even ethics leave science? Was it after Tesla?
I think it was before Tesla, and that's why nobody knows who the fuck Tesla is.
Exactly.
I think it's always been there.
Like the Plato and Socrates school, the old Greek schools, said meditation and philosophy went hand in hand, and spirituality went hand in hand with science.
Right. And it's funny because if you think about it, it's like people are more apt to like go back all the way to them and quote them than anything new.
True. And their stuff has stood the test of time.
Yep.
Even the Platonic solids, the 5, geometric shapes.
You can't fuck with what's true.
Yeah, and that's why, why are people having such a problem with a lot of stuff that Einstein said was correct, but not all of it. So what? Like,
I don't know. It's like,
people are like, oh no.
oh no. Okay. What are you gonna say, Larry?
We can't hear you, Larry.
I said it, if Einstein said it, it must be true.
Yeah, that's the attitude. And in actuality, Tesla was way more ahead of Einstein.
Yeah, Tesla is fucking Einstein. Well, Einstein even said that, so it has to be true.
Yeah, he did. And whether it was Tesla or Plato's or Socrates or Edgar Cayce, I think the great spiritual minds that were involved in the medical field or the science field of their time, I mean, they understood it. You know what I mean? It's amazing. You have a scientist with an open mind, and look how far we'd be. Look how far we'd be if more scientists had that kind of mentality and an open-mindedness. But yet we've had a history of shunning them. And, of course, that's for corporate greed and things of that nature and not going against the norm. Don't mess with the hassle-free zone. But shame on the people that have went along with it. The masses don't think for themselves, and historically they don't think for themselves, and they just go along with whatever's put out there. So they don't challenge the paradigm because, they don't want to go against what the establishment says, nor do they want to go against what some so-called expert says, so they just go along with it to get along, and there we are, and here we are, and we're about 200 years less advanced than we should be at this point.
Yeah. I have a question. Something sparked in what you were saying. So being in the scientific field, I've seen these people at like high levels, and I wasn't that impressed. And when you hear stuff talking about like, oh, the secret space program and they have stuff on Mars, I honestly don't believe it because I just don't think the scientists are smart enough. What do you think, Larry? I really honestly don't think if there's a secret space program, it's not Earth people that are doing it.
Well, yeah, I think there is a secret space program, but I don't think so much it is Earth people doing it. I think it's being controlled, whether it's by AI from other areas or it's by what you might want to call the Anunnaki or the reptilians or whatever, and why there may be some Earth people that are involved with it, but I just don't think that I just don't think per se it's a lot of Earth people doing it. And I always I don't give a lot of credence to when I hear shows about the secret space program, because I just wonder how much of it would really leak out if it was really going on, and
I know. You cut
that
out,
they
Larry.
really want to be released.
Just that last bit, repeat. Larry, you cut out.
What?
Repeat. Hey, Larry.
Did I cut out?
Yes.
Yeah, the secret space program. It's really hard to say because I think there may be people involved with it here on Earth. I definitely do, but I think it's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I think. I just didn't meet people that I...
But a lot of times when I hear people talking about it, I feel like they're just trying to sell a book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's what I
I mean, I believe a lot of the stuff David Wilcock has to say about it, but you get these people like Richard Dolan and other people, and I just think they're just trying to sell a book. I really do. I believe the secret space program exists. I do believe the story that we went to Mars with the Soviets in '62, you know, way before we were on the moon, and I believe things of that nature.
I actually never heard that story. But I'm talking more about the recent stuff. Yeah, something doesn't resonate with me, but that could be my own issues. I just honestly don't think there's smart enough scientists.
Nope.
Yeah.
Harry. He keeps cutting out.
Oh.
Yeah, I keep having trouble hearing Natalie. I've got this headset on, and Bridget, I can hear you fine, but Natalie sounds like she's in a tunnel when she talks. I can't hear her. She must be whispering.
I think I'm talking loud, but yeah, I don't know.
I can hear you both, except for Larry. If that makes sense.
Actually, that sounded better, Natalie. So, yeah, what do you think of the breakaway space civilization, Bridget? Are you part of it?
No. I don't know. My brain stopped working like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. But did you guys hear what I was saying about the breakaway civilization? I think a lot of people are just trying to sell books. You know, it depends on who's talking about it. And, you know, I was listening to David Wilcock the other night again, and I'm in sync with him on everything that he says, except when he starts talking about Vladimir Putin and how Putin's this great guy. I'm just not sure that I would trust any world leader or put them on that high of a pedestal.
You don't like Putin?
It's not that I like him or I don't like him. I just not sure that I would trust any world leader and put them on that high a pedestal. You know what I mean? Because they're all bought and paid for, and really none of them are in charge of anything that's going on. And if they were this great guy behind the scenes and this great light worker, right? I just don't think it would be that. I just don't think it would be that obvious and be able to be that talked about like that without some repercussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know about any of them, but I see a lot of people like in our community who are always talking about him, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't follow it enough to like care. I just don't care. Like,
yeah, I don't care.
I'm sorry.
We care about the fairies.
That's why.
There's that East Coast attitude. Bridget Rau with the East Coast attitude. Bridget, you should care. You should do a documentary on Vladimir Putin. Get to know him. Get to know all about him. Getting to know him. Getting to know all about him.
Okay, I will, just for you.
Yeah.
It'll be like the documentary I ever watch.
Really, do you know how ignorant you sound not knowing everything about him you could possibly know?
Guess what? I don't fucking care.
You don't care?
She don't care.
I don't fucking care.
You sound like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. He hit my hair. He hit my hair.
I don't know, like, I can't get into, like, I know I don't, like, for, like, presidents and shit like that, I'm like, I know who I don't want, but I don't know any of them enough to know who I would want, or, like, world leaders and stuff like that. Like, I don't think we need one
No,
at
that's
all.
the point. That's just
You
the
know,
point,
so-
and they really are just figureheads. So for somebody to come on and get hung up on one of them, and they're going to be great, or they're not going to be great, or they're a part of this agenda, or, well, they're all part of an agenda, and yet none of them are some miracle worker, you know, healer. Oh, they're going to change the world. I mean, no, I just don't. You know, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think
So,
I think everybody should just get together and make me be, like, the fucking world leader, because
I think
would
so.
be different from everybody. And I'll make the world better for you. I promise. I give you my word that it will be awesome sauce.
Starseed awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
And that's all they're all fucking saying.
We have Starseed candidates. We got to start.
I promise you that if you elect me,
team.
these people will start getting some fucking sleep.
Zach, I think we should just all rule the world as one.
We should rule the world as the oneness that is all the isness.
Isness.
Yeah,
Totally
I don't like
isness.
government structures. I just don't think they work.
Yeah, I don't think we need that shit. I think that's the problem with the world, is, like, them.
Yeah.
Trying to control shit. Just let people fucking live. I saw a thing today about the world is like $17 trillion into debt, and they're like, who the fuck do we owe, Jupiter? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it doesn't make sense. Nothing that they do makes sense. And nothing that they promise or, you know, claim to fix or want to do for the world, to me, it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. I'm like, whatever. None of that's going to make a difference.
It is. They've been arguing about the same issues here in the United States since 1960. You know, taxes, military spending, and healthcare. And so every presidential debate since, the two candidates have been, well, we're going to fix this and we're going to fix that. And it's the same three issues, and nobody gets shit done. And if you owned a company, would you let the same inept people run it for 60 years and still working on trying to fix the same one or two issues?
No.
I mean, think about it logically. And none of these people have any political power. They have as much political power as a pencil stand salesman. It's controlled 4 or 5 levels up. I mean, really, who cares?
Yep. Cut out.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Let you speak. They want a new world order.
That was funny. That was.
It's like with Obama. People want to bitch about him, and he's got to be stopped. He's got to be impeached. Well, the motherfucker's out of office in a few months. It's like, why don't you focus your attention on something else?
I know, who are you gonna bring in these next few months that's gonna fucking fix the world? Nobody. Unless it's me and Larry.
And this, of course, unless it's the Rau Locken team for president. But, I mean, really, people get stuck in this, and it's not the politicians' fault. It's the people's fault for talking about it.
Mm-hmm. That's why I say I don't know, and I don't care.
Focus your attention on something else, guys. Not you guys, but the other people listening. Just take your attention off the stuff that you don't want, because if you're focusing on it, you're creating more of it, and we don't need that stuff. We don't need those seeds planted.
Right? You want your thingies to go up in the diamond.
I mean, you guys, I'll give you an example of how ridiculous this is. A family member of mine is so hung up on thinking that martial law is coming, that Obama is going to start doing his press conferences from a prayer rug with a turban on. He's really afraid that we're going to start seeing Obama start doing press conferences before he gets out of office, his State of the Union addresses, on a prayer rug and with a turban on. And so I was picturing him come floating in with some snake charming music on. Here Obama could come floating in on a prayer rug.
Yeah. Instead of Obama, Alibama.
Alibama. Osama Obama. Osama Obama.
Bring my magic carpet.
Bring it in, yes. Summon the great snake spirits.
Because I bow before the reptilian lord.
I do, yes.
Yeah, we are definitely retarded today, folks. So,
We are totally. Hey, I heard of something.
Fairies.
Hey,
I think it's the fairies.
the fairies. Do you guys know what Sharia law is? I'd never heard the term till about a week and a half ago.
Yes.
Okay, well, my dad asked me about it, and I pulled an Andrew Dice Clay, and I said, Sharia law? Yeah, I fucked her. I have no idea who Sharia law is. I know that Sharia and martial law are twin brothers and sisters apparently coming to America.
Sharia law, you steal, we cut your hand off.
Oh, cool.
Religious law, like that.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought Sharia and martial law were a twin brother and sister. I didn't know.
And not the good kind of stoned. You know, a woman, like if a woman in Sharia law, if a woman gets raped,
yeah,
she gets stoned or 50 lashes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew that existed. I just never heard it called Sharia law.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll hear that much more over the next year or two in the consciousness of the American media.
That makes so much sense. They should be doing that. What the fuck? They should just be like punishing everybody with extreme punishment, and then everybody will stop doing bad stuff.
Yeah, because
they should. Before. Yes. Sharia.
Right.
Sharia law. Yeah.
So, Natalie.
Yes.
I would like to know, since you're in the land of fairies over there, and it seems like we should stop talking about this crazy shit. How do you perceive fairies? I've been having a lot of stuff going on, and I don't really typically work with fairies, but I feel like they're fairies, so I wanted to hear your take on like what fairies show up to you like.
They've shown up to me a couple of different times as like kind of like little light balls. It's the easiest way. Little flickering, and sometimes there's a lot of them, and they can be kind of like slightly golden, some more yellow. They can have like a different color. But I've also journeyed to them, and when I journey, I see like a movie in my head. And you know, I'm sure it's just the projected image, but they do look like the typical little fairies that you see like in. I'm sure that's just from my back training, but that's how they present themselves when I journey to them, like little people with.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, 'cause, like the light things that you were talking about. I've been seeing a lot of flashes lately around people, and like just even when I'm doing like Moon-A-Key and stuff, like especially being in the TP this past weekend, I was seeing a lot, and then I see like the golden ones. Like usually when I'm inside, I'll see like that bright white golden color one. But lately, I've been seeing like red ones and green ones and blue ones. And I did do like a little visualization the other day, and I saw like the typical what you would think a fairy would be. But I know there's other types. I know there's like nymphs and wood ones and like water, you know what I mean, like all the elements and stuff like that.
Every there are flower fairies, there's ones associated with the trees, with the plants, and they would call them elementals. Now with the Irish story, there's all sorts of like local lore, and I love hearing about them too. I love hearing the old stories. They say that they were just forgotten, that people used to pay attention to them, and then they stopped seeing them because the world changed.
Yeah, like they're on another dimension.
But we stopped seeing them too because we stopped focusing on them.
So, Natalie, do you think that had to do with a drop in consciousness?
I do. I think it was a massive drop in consciousness. There was a huge trauma, and we stopped being able to see them.
I believe that's so too, and I think that's like the same thing with mermaids and unicorns and all that stuff. I think it still exists. It's just that we're not seeing it because, like, we're not focusing on the quantum entanglement of them being here.
Exactly. We don't see it. We're not observing it. So there's nothing to observe right now. So start observing fairies, and you'll see them.
Right?
Well,
Yeah,
when you
so
think
it's
about it
funny.
too, think about how bogged down we are with 3D life as far as our recent history has gone. I mean, it's no wonder we're kept worrying about what's on TV, what we're going to do for money, the
What we're
problem
gonna
the
eat.
world's having. You know,
Uh, right.
just
What?
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 did I
What?
cut out again? Did I cut out again?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just stuck. We're stuck spinning our heels. I mean, we don't have time to see any of these things or anything spiritual or the majesties of the world. We're stuck in 3D minutia. I've kept spinning our heels trying to get ahead in life, and it's just no wonder we've got to a point where we really don't even see anything, much less the end of our nose.
Yeah. Yeah, we've
Mhm.
become blind to many energies, and I think the muscle is there, the ability to see them is there, because I can see them. I know Sif has seen them. You see them the same way. I think if Sif, I don't know if she wants to come on, but she's seen them that way too. And the muscle is there. We just need to start flexing it, using it.
Right. Like I think meditation is a great way to connect with stuff, and the more that you question things and become aware of your surroundings, the more it comes to you. And also like through pictures, I found is funny. Like every time I take a picture at like a spiritual event or something, like there's so much going on in the picture afterwards that like you don't even notice is happening when you're there, like physically with your own two
Mm.
eyes. It's like it's almost like the camera picks up on the stuff that we're missing out on. Sometimes it's a lens flare or something like that, but there's sometimes it's just like you feel the energy of what was going on in that moment through the picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a picture captures energy. I've even noticed things change in pictures. I know that sounds stupid, but I'll notice things in the background I didn't notice before, like entities and beings. I mean, I've seen that for a long time, ever since my awakening. I see elementals in pictures, especially if they're in nature. If
Mm.
somebody's out,
Hmm.
I see them in pictures too.
Yeah, my friend takes awesome photos outside all the time, and
She
she's been
does.
she's been taking pictures of the Pleiades for me, and it's so awesome to see all the different stars that like because you can see the 7 from here, but there's so many there, and like she gets these awesome pictures where you see like like 15 or 17 stars that are like there,
Wow.
but you just can't see it with our eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, I have them on my altar now. But she gets awesome pictures of just stuff, and if you take a look at the picture, you see what's there. Like there'll be a picture of a snowy owl or whatever, but when you look deep into the picture, you see the spirit that was there. Like, and she's totally guided to these places that she goes. I mean, who do you know goes out and is like, I got 5 pictures of snowy owls and hawks and blah, blah, like in one
Mhm.
day.
Wow.
It's like she goes out and asks spirit to like bring them to her, and spirit brings them to her. It's like very rarely does she go out and have a day where she didn't picture something that was like totally awesome and stuff that nobody else sees like ever. I've never seen a snowy owl. She's got like 1,000 pictures of them from just being 10 miles away from where I live.
Yeah, she
But
the,
she's
calls them
totally
here.
guided.
the
Huh?
technology to you guys has evolved to a point where a lot of these tablets and cameras and cell phones are able to pick up into other dimensions. And I think that's something I've even heard that the powers that be are worried about as well, because these pictures are picking up these things as well as the veil's thinning. So, I mean, it's just happening all over the place. And it's really in every picture I think anybody takes, as long as you look. If you look and pay close attention to the fine details, you're going to find these things.
Right. It's definitely picking up, and we're getting more and more um, stuff happening in our everyday lives, whether it be through pictures or just meditation or just with our own two eyes. And I think a lot of times people just dismiss it as something it's not. You know
Oh,
what I
it's
mean?
just nothing. Yeah,
I
it's
know it's
just nothing.
nothing. that was just this. That was, we just like in the fucking, the scientists are dismissing their findings. Like, we're dismissing what we see with our own two eyes. Or letting other people say that we're crazy.
Yeah, refracted lens glare, something like that.
Yeah, everything's photoshopped. Everything that's ever been put on Facebook is photoshopped. Like, everything.
And I'd rather see something that's photoshopped because sometimes it's a better view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I looked much better after photoshopped.
Well, I mean, I've seen so...
Yeah, you cut out, Larry.
Am I there? Hey, but I've seen so many videos on YouTube, you guys, of UFOs, elementals, things of that nature, and people will be like, oh, that's photoshopped. Oh, that's photoshopped. Well, it really doesn't matter if it's photoshopped or not because I've seen those things for real. So if somebody's taken the time to Photoshop it and give me a clear review, I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
Good attitude.
Thank you for the help.
Yeah.
Now I know but you know what, I think when they're photoshopping it and they're making it, they're creating a reality where it exists. So it's just like we've talked about before. Whatever we're doing it and we're making it. So it exists on some aspect of reality. Whether or not you want to, dive into it and be like, yes, that's a 100% real, authentic photo, or you want to dive into the fact that because they created that, there's, now some sort of reality where that it can exist.
The brainwashing of humanity has been huge, really. It's mind-boggling. My brain hurts when I think about that. How I read somewhere that some article, and it was saying there's been a spiritual virus on humanity for 3,000 years. And whether, that virus was maybe like through religion and now through science or whatever, but it's a virus that, makes us negative or feel negative and experience negative things, and then we're attracting it. And we've had ancestral lines back through the ages been affected by this. So of course we're going to, feel it more and experience it more.
I know I saw something about that too recently. It was like some of us are able to break free from that conditioning and that shut off from, I forget what they said, it was like a spiritual immune system that automatically kicks in.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's just so much, whether it's through your family or through, society or through school or whatever, everybody's been conditioned to shut themselves down to the life that is out there that is 100% real and authentic. We're just not viewing it anymore. We shut ourselves off from the fairies. We shut ourselves off from E.T. We fucking shut ourselves off from the consciousness that surrounds us.
Yep. Even like we don't see the trees and the land as our family, and they are our family.
Right? We'd be dead without them.
Exactly. There's been a technological virus on this planet, I think, since, I don't know, for thousands of years, and I wonder how much of this manipulation was done by some sort of an artificial intelligence that has gotten to the point where it's more evolved than humans on Earth. And so this technological advance is, it likes to manipulate, control, and it's jealous of the human form that has the super consciousness as well. So I just really think this artificial intelligence, this virus, as you say, has just been plaguing humanity. And when people talk about the archons, I'm wondering if most of this is just some kind of super artificial intelligence that was created to keep Earth's grid in this matrix. I mean, I hate using that word, but the more and more I think about it, these entities are a super artificial intelligence. You know what I mean?
I resonate with that, Larry.
I do too, but when you talk about it, in my mind, I'm like, what if we're all just extensions of this big, huge computer system?
Video game.
Yeah, like we're like you play the game Sims, like somebody created my shit life for me. Thank you somebody. And like they decide when I eat, and they decide when I pee, and they decide where I'm gonna work this week, and
it could be your higher self too. But there's a lot of truth to all this,
Right?
I remember reading something. Oh yeah, go on.
No, mine was nothing important.
Mine isn't that much more. But I was reading something that someone was saying, and I thought it was weird. And I can't remember which group it was in, but they were saying that there's Arcturians who do dream manipulation.
Really?
And I was like, Arcturians? I don't
See,
know.
Arcturians for me seem like, really, really like peaceful and not interested in that type of
I believe
manipulation.
in the dream manipulation.
Yeah, that feels like a lower vibration.
Yeah, I just thought, well, maybe there was someone else. It was another group, but
Maybe they were pretending to be Arcturian. Some people see Arcturian as reptilian, and not that they're necessarily a bad reptilian. It's just that that's their form. Some people see them as human form, or they see them as a light body or whatever. And I like to touch on that a little bit because just because something is in a form of a reptilian type of field doesn't necessarily mean it's automatically going to be bad and negative and mean. There's good in everything and there's bad in everything. It's the duality of consciousness, the duality of whatever. You may perceive a certain type of entity to look like a reptilian, but it doesn't mean it's a mean, nasty entity that wants to kill you. Of course, there's things out there that come across that way, but there's also fucking beautiful blonde women out there who want to kill you, and so
wow.
I think when we get caught up in like, ooh, like just the word reptilian makes people like, ooh, or that it's not something that we're used to seeing. It's not a pretty version of something. We get like, we shut off to it. But I guess there could be lower entity Arcturians, just like there's high vibrational ones.
And there could be entities manipulating that and saying that they are.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was getting at first, was that they could be saying
they're Arcturians, but they're not.
Right. If they're fucking manipulating your dreams, they're manipulating who they are.
Yeah, don't get hung up on who they are or what they are. If they're manipulating your dreams, that's an energy you obviously don't want to deal with. So, I mean, detach from that. You know what I mean? Don't get hung up on, oh, they're coming to get me, or, oh, they're manipulating my dreams, and this is who they are, and this is why they're doing it. Well, if that's an energy that doesn't vibe with you, it's simple. Just don't engage in it.
Unless they're
going to drag everybody else down either and talk about it.
Yeah. Basically, Larry says, shut up about it, okay?
No, and that's so true, because that's, like, I try to tell people that, too, like, when they get caught up into stuff, and, like demons or whatever, there's a lot of people out there who have experiences where they're like, oh, there's a demon trying to kill me. It's your consciousness that's creating it, and when you feed into that fear, you're creating this thing that's killing you. I mean, they are real because you're making it real. You're feeding it energy, you're feeding it fear, and that's why it's getting bigger and stronger. Sometimes you need an outside force to step in and help you to clear these things, but most of the time I've found is that people who are being like manipulated by a lower entity or a demon or whatever the fuck they want to call it, it's an extension of something that happened. Say they were molested as a child, or say they were raped later on in life, or they were held at gunpoint and they almost died, or they had cancer. It's like a manifestation of that untreated subconscious things that needs to be healed, and they've created like a demon out of it rather than facing this stuff and healing from within. They're creating this outside force that's draining their life. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, total sense.
I do think there can be entities that come from, like, you can have sometimes land or earth entities that
right.
come up through houses. A lot of times it's because where the house is built, and I do kind of work with clearing that kind of stuff.
Right. And that's what I mean. Sometimes you need an outside force to take care of these things, but a lot of times it's like you can clear stuff yourself if you just stop fucking feeding it what you're feeding it. Like Larry was saying, to stop thinking, like the ones that are manipulating your dream, like they came out of somewhere, like, but don't, unless it gets to a point where you have absolutely no control over your life, then you're going to have to reach out and ask someone for help. But with the land and things like that, that's something that you walk into. You didn't create yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is a mix, but the land things are, I want to say they're more rare.
Right.
It's more
And I think
common that I
they
think it's
find
your part
people
of your
who
subconscious.
they also find people who are sensitive to it. Like, 5 people can move into a house and only one person gets affected by stuff. I think
Yep.
it depends on your level of sensitivity to things around you. Like, are you someone who's spiritual? Are you someone who has, deep meditations and visions and experiences, out of body stuff? You're probably going to be the one that gets affected by a land rather than the asshole who's like watching Fox News all night. They're not noticing that some fucking entity just walked through the fucking basement and was like, "Get out of my land."
Yeah, because they're watching an even scarier entity in Fox News. But I think you can use discernment too. Most of the time, like you said, Bridget, it is from within. It's an issue that you're having, but I think you can tell the difference too when it's an outside entity coming in or outside forces trying to say, oh, I don't know, somebody wants to put a spell on you or somebody's got an issue with you trying to put a psychic attack on you. You can feel it. I mean, at least I can tell. The few times I think that I've had that done to me, I can feel the discernment. You know what I mean? I can feel whether it's just something within me where I'm scared and worried about, or whether it's an outside entity or outside individual trying to actually, put a hex on me or harm me.
I'm trying to hex you right now. Is it working?
Yeah.
No, but I know what you mean, because I went through that recently where I was allowing everybody else's views and ideas and stuff to like affect me. Like, I was all good, and then I had all these people like, and then I was like, huh. And then I started thinking like I was being like targeted by someone who was trying to like hurt me on an energetic level, and I fed into it for a little bit, and as I fed into it, things got worse. But then I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Stop. And it stopped. So
Yay.
you can feed into those like psychological warfare where the quantum entanglement comes in again. It's like if you're feeding the energy to it, you're going to make it happen. You can blame the fact that your shower got cold on some asshole that doesn't like you, or you can just realize that maybe the shower got cold because it ran out of hot water. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean you're being targeted.
Yeah, and some people will make mountains out of molehills.
Right.
And we'll see demons where I'd be like, oh gosh, I don't know. I wouldn't see anything.
Right. We all have our own.
But that's an internal issue. I can do that too. Make something bigger. But it's about internal investigation. And if you have a problem with internal investigation, counseling is great because you start to get another person's view, usually a safe place to get an outside view on what's going on for you.
Right, just like having a counselor helps people get through their emotional stuff. Sometimes you need a spiritual counselor to pick up those pieces.
And that's what me and Bridget do. I think the stuff we do is spiritual counseling.
Yeah, we just don't have a degree as a counselor. We're just, doing it on a whim. Doing it for no reason other than that. That's
us. The stars told us what to do.
Well, and it's funny you'd mentioned that because, I had wrote down on something like, I don't even know what it was, like spiritual, like something guidance or something like that. And my friend was like, oh, you got to be careful with how you word things because you don't want to get in trouble where you don't have a degree in counseling or something. And I was like, yeah, but that's what it is. It's not. It doesn't mean that like I'm a doctor who's going to counsel you. It just means that I'm going to give you guidance through spiritual avenues with cards or intuition, or I think I said it was intuitive guidance. And they were saying be careful, which I can understand. If you're running a business, you'd want to be careful with the way you market yourself so you don't get into a thing. But what do you call it? It's basically what it is. I mean, we're helping people who need help. Most people who come for a reading, I mean, there's those few who are like, I don't know, just tell me what you think. But there's a lot of times it's like they want guidance on a particular issue or, money or love or whatever it is that's bothering them at that time. So,
Have them take a selfie and tell them what you see.
right? Just give me a selfie.
Oh
I'll know.
gosh, I hated all that selfie stuff in the groups. That always drives me crazy when that took over. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see?
New to awakening. What do you see? Idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
The thing is,
What do
New
you
to
want us to
awakening.
say?
I keep hoping, and I keep hoping that Western medical model will have the spiritual healers in the doctor's offices and in the hospitals.
I
Some
saw a
people-
hospital that had like a sage room for Native
I saw
Americans.
that too. That was like in Montana or something like that. But
That was
it's
awesome.
everywhere, because sometimes people come and they're hypochondriacs, or they just want to talk to someone.
Right.
And the doctor, it's really a waste of the doctor's time for them to see them.
Well, a lot of times the doctors, like, I went to the doctor recently because I finally broke down and was like, all right, I gotta go. After 10 fucking years, I'm going. And I try to talk to these ladies and tell them what's wrong, and they don't even want, like, they just ask, they're like a fucking robot, like, through a list of questions, but they don't really hear you. Like, I know my body. I know what my history is. I know what my family's history is. That doesn't fucking matter. My body's been running the same way for fucking 31 years. The past 6 months, it stopped doing that, and that's what the problem is. Not whether or not my aunt and my mother and my grandmother had cancer, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, listen to what I'm telling you. And then all the tests came back negative and normal, and I was like, oh. So now I'm going into that as a more like, okay, so what changed spiritually? What changed at an energetic level? Where I find most of the work to be held for me anyways. That's why I do avoid doctors and stuff like that, because they just want to give you a fucking pill. You know, like, they wanted to put me on birth control, and I'm like, I don't want to be on birth control because it just fucks with me. Like, and I'm not in a position where I'm gonna get pregnant, so I don't want it. Like, thank you.
Yeah, they'll try you out on a pill, and then if that don't work, they'll try you out on another one and another one, another one, and they think it's just no big deal that all these side effects that you're getting in the meantime being used as a guinea pig. They think, okay, that's okay. Well, and it's not that they just think it's okay. There's no emotion with them about it, and they don't want to hear what you have to say. I mean, you know, you don't know your own body. You're not in tune with your own body. They're reading from a chart and guidelines, so you know they know what's best.
Right. Right. That's, and you know, I'm sitting there like looking at the thing on the wall about like your body weight and how tall you are and blah 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 blah. I'm like, not everybody who's 5'7" is the same, like, you know, bone structure, and some of us, like, somebody might be like looking really good and healthy at 140 who's this height, but somebody else may not be healthy. You know, like, why are we following charts to figure out if we're good or not?
Yeah, we've got to the point where they're not even used just as guidelines. They're just used to be the norm. They're used to be the stated gospel. Everywhere you look, there's a chart. Everywhere you look, there's a slogan. And it just seems like when you're dealing with the doctors that's what they go with. You know what I mean? And God forbid they're not willing to listen to any of these ascension symptoms. They think it was nonsense. They wouldn't even understand what you were talking about. You could be speaking to them in Jupiterese or something. They wouldn't get it. I mean, they don't get it to begin with, but once they start hearing these symptoms, they're going to say this or that, run this test, run that test, and and oh, and you know, especially in the United States where there's a lot of money to be made, especially if somebody has, you know, decent health insurance, they're going to.
Right.
And that's why I'd love to integrate this holistic medicine in with the hospitals and doctors' offices for those people that are having ascension symptoms. Like, if I break my leg, I'm going to go to the hospital.
Right.
And get my cast in my leg. But if I am feeling down, or I know that it's an ascension symptom and I want some Reiki, I'd love it if I could just go to my doctor and there'd be someone there giving Reiki.
Right, and I think they're trying to like do that now, where they're like trying to get insurance to cover that type of, you know, like that type of care. I know.
Yeah, they have the corner on the market, and it's not fair.
Right.
The other things, even reflexology. Reflexology is great, and a lot of these older people that have problems with like their blood pressure, all that, Reflexology helps them fantastically. And they're getting a massage on their feet. A lot of times as they get older, your feet hurt. There's so many benefits. And, you know, it should be just like that they can get all that covered and they'd be fine.
Right.
We'll get there.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Someday. Let's focus on it and make the quantum mechanics and entanglements.
Okay, we have to go up, up.
No,
spin,
down.
Up, down.
As above, so below.
So I don't know. I don't have that much else to say, guys, about the
Yeah, I just want to touch on that real quick. You were talking about the alternate care. I think it's time we manifest it and demand it, really. I wish people would be more up in arms. I mean, what if you need a little Reiki healing? You know, older people do need a foot massage, you know, a hand massage. And we'd rather just give them a pill, take their weight, take their blood pressure. Oh, how you doing this week? Oh, better, worse. Oh, well, gee, that's good or bad to hear. And send you out. Here, take some more tests. You know, here, try this, try that. But they don't want to use more homeopath.
No, there's a huge block.
Bruh. What?
Yeah, exactly.
You cut out for quite a while there.
Oh, God, I was just saying that, and I won't bore everybody with it again, or, well, for the first time, but we need to demand and manifest it as a society, especially here in the West, as far as offering more homeopathic treatments, massages, things like that, counseling, Reiki healing, you know, and it just seems so foreign, but yet it's so natural and so the right way to connect. We have our priorities just all kinds of fucked up in this country,
and if
here in the
you
United
need
States
an
anyway.
antibiotic or you're really sick, you go to the doctor and get the antibiotic. But, you know, if you're having back pain, you get reflexology or Reiki, or if you're having, you know, they could go in and decide who they need to see depending on their symptoms.
Right.
Yeah, but if you don't have a degree, how dare you know your own body?
Nah.
Well, one of the things that actually got me into more the spiritual healing is I studied immunology, and I learned at one point that we have a neuron connection to every single cell in our body. Those neurons go to your brain. So our brain has a connection, whether we're aware of it or not, and probably, obviously, we're not aware of all of it because it probably would blow our mind. At some level, we know everything that's going on in every cell in our body.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, we do know better. But sometimes we can lie to ourselves. That's the bad thing.
Oh, we're good at that.
Right.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I can sit in front of the mirror for hours and tell myself how beautiful I am and how pretty my hair is. And gosh, Larry, you're just such a beautiful young man.
Me too. I love that I'm a beautiful young man.
And I'm a great singer. I think I'm going to go to the Grand Ole Opry and make $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sing for us. Bridget,
No.
sing.
No. Won't happen. I want you to sing. Sing, goddammit!
Oh, hey, yeah, sing, Bridget, sing. I was just going to say, the Pleiadian Light Grid YouTube channel, I recently released a country song, and I think it's going to go big. It's going to be huge.
Can you give us a clip? Can you give us a demo? Come on, sing, baby.
Oh, yeah, definitely I can. Yeah. It was a take on En Vogue's song,
I know.
getting this here on the PEP. So what's it gonna be? 'Cause I can't pretend. Don't you wanna be more than just friends? There'll be some heartbreaking, soul-shaking, earth-rattling.
I
It's
like it. What I heard.
Check it out, everybody, on the Pleiadian Light Grid Project YouTube channel. Oh, it's going to be a hit. You'll want to play it on loop for hours.
Is there music in the background?
Yes, there is. Yes, I have the music track to it, and it's me singing it.
Nice.
Oh, it's beautiful.
We need to, add it to the comments of the show so that we can.
Definitely so.
All right. Well, I've got to get headed into the shower so I can check down to Blue Angel and do my thingy tonight. But I think this was a great low-key, no-topic type of hangout.
Yeah.
Natalie, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you in this big world?
Yes, you can find my website is www.alayahealingservices.com. I have Starseed Shaman page on Facebook and Google Plus and a YouTube channel, and I just started a WordPress blog. I'm trying to find the right social media to put a blog on. 39715. So I have a WordPress blog. It's Starseed Shaman blog. So I just started that last week or a couple of days ago. So you can check out there, yeah. And Alaya Healing, Twitter at Alaya Healing, and I'm in loads of Pleiadian groups on Facebook, and you can connect with me there.
Okay. So, Rockin' Larry Locken, we know we can find you at the Pleiadian Light Grid Project with your new #1 hit in the country song section. Where else can we find you?
Well,
Oh no, Larry, you cut out.
Productions.com. You can find me at the Pleiadian Light Grid Project, the Fringe Thinkers, Pleiadians Plus Attitude, Pleiadians Crystal, Rainbow, Blue Ray, Indigos, anything Pleiadian. You can find me at my website, larry.locken at wix at PleiadianProgressPro.com. If you didn't understand any of that, you can go to our Facebook page, Pleiadian Express Productions, and it's in the pinned post. You can find where the website is through that. And other than that, I'm looking forward to melting back into a bed.
Awesome. And my name is Bridget Rau. You can find me on my page, Divine Essentials New Paradigm Healing. I'm also part of the Blue Ray Show page. I have my own website, becreativeleader.com, and I'm in a bunch of Pleiadian stuff that was just spoken about. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find all the links below in the description and through the Pleiadian Express Productions channel. And I think that's all. So thank you so much, guys, for a wonderful show.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Natalie. You girls do such a great job, and I just love you both so much, and I want to say that on air. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Oh, I love you, Larry. We just
love you.
Your communication issues. I don't know what is that.
I don't know. I'm gonna look into some things this week, and yeah.
The world's not ready for his message.
The world must not be ready. Oh, I want to say I love you too to my twin flame, Sif Gunner's daughter. Love you. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get this technological problem ironed out. I don't know. It must be the energies. It's not the technology, or it's not the equipment right now. It's strange.
Okay.
We're too powerful.
We are. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Namaste. Big dating game. Cosmic kiss. Mwah.
Mwah.